Alright, today's video we're going to go over the universal robot that we have in the lab. So this underneath the robot is our controller. It's a gray box. And then of course we have our arm for the UR robot, which is on top of the table that we have. And then this here is our teach pendant. Alright, so for today we're going to go and turn on the robot and we're going to turn off the robot. So first thing you notice is the light table is on. That means that the main power for the robot is plugged in. So we don't have to go and plug in a pigtail or anything like that. If it's unplugged, there's probably a reason why it's unplugged. Always ask for permission to plug in these devices. Some things I want you to think about. Right now we have, right here is our teach pendant, and you see a stop button. When you want to hit the stop button, you just click down. When you want to reset it, you just twist it. Okay. Now, for turning on the robot, there's a giant power button right here on the teach pendant. It's going to turn green, and it's going to boot up. It takes a couple of minutes to boot up. Now, the cool thing about our UR here is it's a cobot. So what that means is we don't have to put it inside of a really large cage or anything like that. We just have it on the table. And the reason why is because this robot can work with people in the same area. So in the same workspace, this robot can operate while there's an operator or somebody else in the work area. So for instance, if this robot were to come and hit me or anything like that, it would stop. And how that works is the encoders in here are in the joints. Instead of it giving more power to the motors to keep going through an object, when the encoders figure out that it's stalling somewhere, it'll actually stop. I can show you that later when we have a program in here. I could try stopping it with my hand. It's not super gentle, but it won't leave you with a black eye or anything, basically. So that's pretty cool about the UR. Okay, so here's our screen. The first thing that's going to happen once it loads is you're going to have this pop-up window here, and we're just going to go to the initialization screen, and it's going to bring us to our initialization of the robot. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit on. There it goes. And the cool thing about this too is it'll give us a graphic image of what the robot is doing currently. So it always knows where the robot is during its movements and stuff graphically. So we look at it. You can't see because you're in a different position from me. You're over here. But the way I'm seeing it to my teach pendant here is the same as the robot's doing. So I'm going to go and hit the start button. You hear that? That's all the motors turning on. Now once I hit start, it goes gray, and then we see his robot normal, so that's good. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the gripper button up here. I'm going to activate the gripper. You can see I'm using the stylus here. You want to make sure that the stylus is always on the stylus mode because you can actually twist it. Sorry. Twist it, and it comes out with a pen. And you want to be careful that you don't twist it. So always look, the stylus is green. If you use the pen, you're going to start writing on the screen, and that's no good. So once we have initialized the robot, we can just go down and let me just move this for a second. I've put my third view here in way of the OK button. And once we get this, we're going to just hit our OK button. And it'll bring us back to our robot screen. And this is where we could go here and run a program or program the robot. The next thing I'm going to show you is basically just how to turn off the robot. If you're in this screen here, all you have to do is hit the stop button. I'm going to bring us to another screen though, just so you can see what that looks like. So let's go to program robot. So you can see when I went to program robot, it changed the screen layout. It's kind of like so our teach pendant here runs off of Linux. So if you're familiar with Linux, it's kind of like the same situation. But we have a file up here. See if we can move that a little better. And if you hit the file button, it gives us a whole bunch of stuff like with a regular program, right? So new, load program, initialize, that's that last page that we were at when we clicked some buttons. about, and then we have exit. So if I was going to close out of here, I could save the program I'm working on, hit exit. It brings us back to this page. And once I get to this one, shut down robot. And it's going to ask me if I want to shut down the robot. I can restart it or power off. I'm going to choose power off. And you can see everything just kind of left it right there, and it goes dark. And it's going to go through a little sequence here, shutting down everything. And that's how we turn on and shut down the UR robot.